Hey everybody, what's up? What's going on? I know. It's all a new format again. I'm still learning new software and all that jazz. But what is up? What is going on? And welcome to the dark side of the room. I'm Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, saying, "What's going on, YouTube? It's been a little while, hasn't it?" Okay, so it's been just long enough since my last video, which was the musical chain letter, but it's still the thing. So, how you guys doing? What's going on? How is everybody feeling? How is everyone holding up? Oh my god, we're still stuck in this whole isolation thing and all that stuff. And I get you. I get exactly how all that stuff goes. So, we're here. We're going to talk about some interesting things. And honestly, the big thing that we're going to talk about today is something that I've been thinking about. Yeah, we got the chat happening right now. I'm sorry, Mr. Hurst. I might change up the background, but I just figured I'd give us a little bit of woo. Yeah. So, today we are actually going to be talking about using um video software because, well, how can I put this? There's a whole lot of reason to stay inside right now. And with the staying inside, that gives us a lot of time to check out our tabletop RPGs, to read our books, to check out um um new updates for you D&D 5e people. This is the perfect time to catch up on your um Arcanum. Totally the perfect time to do all that stuff. But before we get started with all of that, I gotta do some business real quick. So, you guys know the drill. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, give me a thumbs up, share the whole thing, bring your friends. I'm trying to grow the community. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I did not monetize this channel because I have a Patreon. But the big thing that I want to do right now is I want to grow the community. As some of you guys already know, Back in the Deck Productions is all about nerd and geek culture from the perspective of people of color, women, LGBTQA+, the disabled, and the fiscally disenfranchised. That last department means everybody. How's it going? Welcome to a global pandemic. So, like, subscribe, recommend the Patreon, all that other stuff. We're going to get to that. But since this is a live show, I'm taking questions in the chat. Not just in the chat, of course, but you guys know how it goes. I chat, I live stream, I do all that stuff. And you guys can ask me questions, or you can feel free to let me turn up the music right over here and send me an email. I can read them on the air, which is pretty awesome. And we're having keyframe problems, but that's okay. Yep. Please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. Okay, yep. Well, let's hope this is working. But as I was saying, send me an email over at backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com, so I can read your email, answer any questions on the air, give you guys just a little bit of attention for yourself. Yay, hey, how you doing? You can also hit us up on the social medias, Twitter, Instagram. Just look for Back in the Deck, same spelling, BACKINTHEDECK. And if you are part of that wretched hive of scum and villainy, and let's face it, who isn't nowadays, join the group Deckers on the Book. That is our community where we talk and we exchange pictures and we show what we're doing, and we have fun conversations where you guys can talk with me, other guests that have been on the show, and all of that jazz. Now, so this is a new format for me, or should I say another format for me, because I'm normally over on Twitch, and a lot of people are like, but Twitch is just for video games. No, it's just another platform, guys. So do your YouTube thing, do your Twitch thing, just get the word out there, do your thing. I encourage you guys to do what you're gonna do. And hey Daryl, how's it going? And yeah, now if you guys don't like sitting up or an hour looking at a talking head in a psychedelic background, that's easy. All you guys got to do at that point is just head over to soundcloud.com/bid_p, and you can listen to the audio from all of our tracks without having to look at my lovely, lovely face, but you can listen to my sexy, nasally voice. And we've got 5 to 7 years of backlogged stuff. I mean, look at all that. And I'm uploading more every day. And if y'all don't have time to do that, I understand. Who has time to go through all that stuff? But as a gift from us to you, you can download everything that's on the SoundCloud for free forever. I pay a decent amount of money per month, at least decent for my budget, and to make sure that you guys have unlimited access, that you can, like, share them, download them, all that other stuff. And if you do want to help us out financially and you are in a decent position to do so, then just head on over to patreon.com/bid_p. That's patreon.com/bid_p. And become a decker. Honestly, if you appreciate the stuff that we do with the charity work and the community work and all the stuff about talking with you people, I am so with it. And if you think that that is worth more than a packet of cupcakes per month, then join for $1. We got higher tiers, and your higher tiers get cool stuff like altar making things, and we got this guy right here, our Cthulhu dice roller. This is a Creative Commons things, but we did some redesigns on it, and we print them up, we paint them up, we ship them out to you guys at the $50 tier or higher. And one of my favorite designs right here is the back in the deck Angel of Dice. And yes, it is an angel, it is for dice, it is a dice tray and a dice roller, and you can keep this on you can keep this right on your bookshelf, and nobody will even know that you're that kind of nerd. I don't know if there's still people afraid. So I got some people in the chat right now asking, hey, are you interested in 5th edition D&D? Dude, I love 5th edition D&D. I really do. Matter of fact, I've got my PDF of the handbook open right in front of me right now. As a matter of fact, I'm all about the D&D, and I love 5th edition. I love all editions except for 4th. Not that 4th was bad per se, but it wasn't my taste. It was pretty much made for people that play a lot of video games, and I haven't played video games regularly since the PlayStation 1. So, I'm a tabletop gamer, that's the whole thing, and I do like D&D. I love 5th edition. I love the open gaming license. My particular game is called Esper Genesis. This is from Alligator Alley Games, and this is sci-fi via the D&D engine. So it's still, it's still like playing D&D, but it's in space. There are dogfighting rules for space combat and a lot of stuff like that. But I do love me the 5th edition standard D&D. When I can find players that are open-minded enough to not pigeonhole their playing style to a historic fantasy type thing, y'all know what I'm talking about. And no. I old heads, young heads. I love 2nd edition too. I really do. I love 2nd edition. Love 3rd edition. Love 3.5. I made lots of fun of it back in 2000 because I was younger. And I'm like, feet? What are these feet things? I got feet. My character's got 2 feet. What? It's humanoid. I don't need no more feet. Honestly, my perspective on most games and stuff like that is there is a time and a place for just about every game. And that's what we feature here, 5th edition is fantastic for new players. It's fantastic for casual players. It's really, 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 really good for older players like me who have a day job and have families and girlfriends and people that aren't as committed to tabletop role-playing as I am, and it's also good to bring them in as well. So a lot of these things are gateway. And that's one of the really, really, really big things that I dig with 5th edition. Now, when it comes to like hardcore recreation stuff, I can use Pathfinder for that type of thing. Um, when I want to be like, all right, what gear do you have on you? Do you have that skill? Then you suck for trying. And oh, you got into a fight. Well, guess what? That guy punched you in the face, but he's bigger, so your character's dead. Yeah! You know, if I want hardcore crunch and hardcore recreation with granular rules, I can go Pathfinder, you know. The thing is, there's no such thing in the 21st century as games that are bad for everyone. You know, it really just comes down to time and place. A lot of people, you know, I'm a big fan of sci-fi more than fantasy, but I can get my fantasy fix. Some people like modern. Some people like modern fantasy, you know, and you know what we do here is we say, hey, check out the stuff that we're checking out. Yeah, I have no shame. I'm almost 43 years old. Okay, now, now, as I was saying, yeah, we talk about a lot of stuff here, and one of the reasons that we dig so well on tabletop role playing, seriously speaking, is value for money. I've got a shelf full of role-playing games. We're talking the Star Trek role-playing game from West End Games, the Marvel role-playing game from West End Games circa 1987, Nobilis, the White Wolf stuff from the 90s, the the Onyx Press stuff that's current. I've got the Serenity game, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer games. I love role-playing. Okay, I love role-playing all in all, and don't get me started on Call of Cthulhu. I like I like H.P. Lovecraft's writing, and I know what he named his cat, so a little conflicted on that. But as I was saying, you know, and of course Cyberpunk, Shadowrun, Paranoia, all that jazz. I could go on for days and days and days, and I have checked the playlists. But right now we're on lockdown, okay? As you guys who are familiar with the channel knows, the Wizard's Tower is in beautiful, sunny Southern California. We don't have winter here. I think the last time we had snow, we had to go to the top of a mountain. And I am a dyed-in-the-wool, die-hard, chewing my own face off extrovert. One of the reasons I like RPGs. Hey, get me in a room full of people. Yay! Not that I have to be the center of attention. I just like looking at people laugh and laughing with people and having a good time. That's how I wanted to live my life. Anyhow, by the way, for you guys watching, just bring in friends. Just send them a link saying, hey, dude, this guy's talking about role-playing games, and he seems pretty open-minded about a lot of things. Because people are welcome. The only rules are you gotta be kind. Okay? Because I love older gamers. I am an older gamer. I'm so old school, it hurts. And I spent a lot of years becoming the gamer that I am today. A lot of years crunching the numbers on Thaco, rolling out my stats with second edition, going through innkeeper stat after innkeeper stat after innkeeper stat before I could put together a wizard, and I'd pray that it would live longer than 4th level. You know, I'm that kind of old school, but this is a big world, and we're so lucky today being tabletop gamers that thanks to the dudes, the people, you know, men, women, and other over at Critical Role, and a lot of people like Joe Manganella, Deborah Ann Wall, Matthew freaking Lillard, Matt Mercer, and all those guys bringing that stuff into the mainstream. We can finally be gamers in public and not just be considered something other than a freak, but people might actually be interested in what we're doing. This is a golden age. This is a golden time. And I'm with that. And I'm saying, come on in. Not to mention, oh no, we have a hobby that increases our mathematics skills and actually pushes us to read and do creative writing. Gasp! Oh no! So I'm with it. And I love video gamers. I'm just behind the curve. And I don't want to have to spend close to $1,000 to catch up, especially since what I've heard and what I've seen are people that game online are some of the nicest and most welcoming people that there are, but I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. I tell jokes too. Anyway, um, but what I've noticed since this whole COVID-19 thing has popped off is most of us are on lockdown. It's don't go out of the house for unless you absolutely need stuff like groceries and medicine and things like that. And check out the Dark Side of the Room playlist. Y'all know where I come from, so this ain't nothing new to me. But what is new is my love for technology. When I was young, we had this TV show that we watched called The Jetsons. It was the opposite of the Flintstones. It was a Daddy Knows Best family comedy animated show, but it was set in the future with all of the living quarters were above the clouds, there were flying cars, there were escalators in every house, and it was supposed to be set in, I think, 1997. Boy, was that dishonest. Yeah, but one of the things that the Jetsons didn't lie to me about was having visiphones, okay? Thanks to this whole internet thing and these smartphones and all that stuff, it's like, oh my god, look at all this and that, you know? And I can make a phone call to someone and talk to them in person. And with a lot of these phone calls, the other things that we can do is we can have conference calls, and conference calls are awesome. So what have we been doing? We've been running games. Currently, I'm running 2 Esper Genesis games and 1 20th anniversary edition of Mage the Ascension via Zoom. And again, I'm middle-aged, guys, all right? So understand, if you grew up with smartphones, then you know all of the cool technology like Discord and Roll20 and all that other stuff. And I know of it. But in order to do that, I would literally have to take like a 2-day online class for each particular program, and then another day and a half to, what's the term I'm looking for? Learn how to integrate them smoothly together. And I got the time now, but before what month just passed? March. Before March, I really didn't have the time for that because I'm making these videos. I live cast 4 days a week without fail. So yeah, it's a really, really, really big thing. But one of the reasons that I love tabletop role-playing games is once you buy the book, it's got infinite replayability. Okay, and back in the 90s, I played Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2 on the PC. Dug it. It was cool. And that has a lot of replay value, but not nearly as much replay value as I've gotten out of my D&D books and my Star Trek books and all the books that I listed a little bit earlier. So now they're up to $50 per book, but I'll tell you what, $50 for 45 years of entertainment, that's a no-brainer. Calculate how much it costs to go to the movies with a friend, and yeah, there you go. So now that we've got this video chatting thing down, there are so many ways to play. Now, if you're like me, and I know that some of you guys out there are, having the video chat is enough. That is enough. I was talking to my daughter about this because she plays on Discord. I didn't even get her into it. I love the future. And, she was talking about how she plays online. A lot of people play on Discord, and there's a dice rolling app and all that stuff. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today, which is there's been a shift in culture, okay? Or not quite a shift, just something something that I noticed with internet culture, and that is two things. And this is my generation's fault and my parents' generation's fault. And that is a moraine of trust when it comes to the people that you play with. Now, we talk on these shows a lot about being good to each other, being kind, not playing to win, not being competitive, and always remembering that A, it's just a game, and 2, aren't you playing this with your friends? So Um, and one of the things I notice and have noticed over the past few decades is that sometimes with tabletop RPGs, that isn't really the case. Yeah, that really isn't one of the cases. One of the cases that I've noticed is um, a lot of players are so caught up on, I guess you can say, the power fantasy, that they tend to forget other players. And there are loads of videos here on YouTube that are way better than I can put out. I'm going to put that out right now. Way better than I've got access to. Hang on, I'm going to change up this background real quick. Because, yeah, there we go. All right, there we go. Yeah. I hope that's better for Nicholas Hurst. Anyway, there's a lot of videos out there by great YouTubers talking about games, mostly 5th edition, but the principles are the same. We're talking guys like XP to Level 3, Nerderkey, WebDM, Michael Coville. One of my favorites is Seth Skarkowski. Let's not forget Mr. Rex and Runesmith, and of course Don't Stop Thinking. There's lots of people out there, and literally that's just off the top of my head. I'm not keeping notes. I don't, I got a couple of points that I know I want to go over, and that's it. This is all unscripted. You're welcome, Hurst. Anyway, all these guys have written so many videos about how to be a cool player, live up to social contract, and all that stuff. So you can watch their stuff for hours, and I mean hours, and learn how to be a better player. But what I want to address is trust, okay? When I was growing up, we played sports. I grew up in the ghetto, so sports was like the number one thing to do other than dancing to the music that was on the radio. I mean, that was it. That was what we had. And one thing about sports is that it always comes down to a winner and a loser. I don't care what game you're playing, basketball, hockey, football, lacrosse, even running track. It's all about being faster than the other guy and winning the race. I get you. I do. I really get you. But one of the things that makes role-playing different is it's not about winning. It's about going through the story in most cases. So it's not like your character against everyone else at the table. Specifically, I like to make I really like to make comparisons to games that everybody knows, like poker and blackjack. Okay, most games, online games like PvP stuff, most sports. Most of the time, people think of a game. They think in terms of poker. It's me against the world, me against every other player. Or if you ever go to a blackjack table, it's everybody at the table, including the dealer sometimes, versus the house. Okay, and I like that idea. I like that idea so much. That's one of the reasons I do role-playing games. When you're at a role-playing game table, you can trust your players. At least you can trust your fellow players and trust your DM, because everyone's there to have a good time. Okay, and having a good time is really based on you being the best, the coolest, the funniest, the most awesome, and having everyone worship you, that might not, then tabletop RPGs might not be a hobby that would resonate with you. I know when I was a kid, I played pretend a lot. Okay? I played with my neighbors, and I had a cousin who always wanted us to think that she was great. Like, she wanted to be the one in charge. She wanted to lead. She wanted to do all those other things. And it took a while for us to bring her around to the idea that it's a group effort and that she wasn't royalty, and if she wanted to be royalty, then we didn't want to play with her. So, and I take that into my adult life. Ensemble cast stories are really one of the major things that happens at role-playing tables. So that social contract that we talk about really comes down to trusting that your GM isn't trying to beat you, and trusting that your other players aren't trying to beat you. Because it's not about beating everyone in most games. Okay, one of the reasons that we have a session 0, God, I love all the jargon, is for all the players and the person running the game to sit down and literally, and I mean this, literally determine what kind of game they want to play at that time. Okay, that's a huge thing. Is it going to be a player versus player game? Are there victory conditions, or are we playing pretend and laughing and stuff? I mean, that's the whole thing. I'm huge on session 0 because I have a lot of friends who game for a lot of different reasons. Now, again, me being such an old man, almost 43 years old, and I can't quite keep up with people and their attention spans. I come from a different time and a different place. I have this big thing about when I set aside my day to do something, I'd like to do that. And if plans change, I'd like to be informed. It's a big thing for me. And this is a personal thing. This is like, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. So, but I live here in California where getting drunk and smoking weed is a big thing. So I'm like, hey, somebody wanted to play board games? Cool, I brought over like these 5 board games. Okay, you just want to get drunk and play Cards Against Humanity again. So when session 0 comes out, when we're about doing session 0, I ask a whole bunch of questions, like what kind of game are we playing? Is this going to be a narrative thing? Is it going to be an exploratory thing? Do you have a story arc set up? Or are we out to beat each other up? Are we supposed to be beating you? Like, what are the criteria under which we're going to be playing? I want that clear so that I can decide better, and so that the other people at the table can also decide better. It's a thing. And I want to make this very clear, okay? That's how I play. There's no right or wrong. There's no, you're a bad person if you play like that. No. That's not how this goes. It really is just a matter of making sure that your motives line up with the motives of everyone else at the table. And if they don't, you don't have to go. It's that simple. And if they do, you're great. You're totally great. So how does this tie into gaming with video processors? Well, first off, I trust my players to tell me, I really do trust my players to tell me what they roll. Now granted, I deal mainly with new players. Now, as a GM, I very rarely, if ever, tell them target numbers. That's not how I do things, because I like describing. I'm sure you guys have put together that I like talking. But yeah, so in a nutshell, one of the big things that I enjoy doing is I let them roll for something, and sometimes, like during combat, I'll just let them know whether or not they hit. But when it comes to stuff that's not combat, I like to describe what happens so that they have a better understanding of that. But one of the things I try never to do is to give my players a reason not to trust me. I have an older brother, and I'd love to get him into role-playing. I really would. But he's not into it because he doesn't trust people to play fair. And it hurts my heart because he's a decent writer and really good artist. Like, really good artist. But a lot of people have this problem with trusting folks to do the right thing. And the internet has made it a lot easier, or a lot more possible, to trust and not trust people. You've got other things, like, you've got there are a lot of tools, and let's see. I'm pulling up stuff because yeah, I do video inserts and all that stuff. There we go. Yeah, one of the things that you've got as a great tool nowadays is Roll20. I mean, this stuff, you know, create a free account and it's cool. It lets you do pretty much everything online. I'm not sure if it's just for 5th edition. Oh no, oh look at that. Build your own from choose a game, marketplace, join someone's game. I mean, it's oh, there we go. Yeah, D&D. Oh, they got kids on bikes. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, they have a lot of stuff there, and they have the Fate system. It's pretty cool. I'm kind of liking Roll20, though I would have to, like I said, take a couple of days to watch some videos, learn how to use it, and all that stuff. Discord is another big one. I'm trying to learn how to use Discord. Could use a teacher. That would be great. But at the same time, you know, we're doing a whole bunch of stuff on the day-to-day. I'm checking the chat real quick. Is there any way I can get this thing to just be that? Just the big... Just want to do the chat as pop-out chat. Yeah, look at that. Boom! Yes! Alright, that is awesome. Alright, yeah, it's been a little while since I've been on YouTube, so... You know, but yeah, so let's check out the chat. Yeah, I ended up getting Mage. Because Mage was my game. That was like, if there was any day that I was going to be on Onyx Path to let that stuff go, it was gonna be that day. That was definitely gonna be that day. Because, yeah, Mage the Ascension was my game. Still my favorite Magic system. I did whole video on that last Monday. So yeah, it's a really big thing. Again, major thanks to you guys that are out there. And woohoo, yeah, that's cool. I like that. I like that particular feature. But yeah, that is a major thing. I've talked with a lot of people about video chatting, and I'm glad, and this is like a really good thing that's come out of hey, yeah. How's it going, Jen? Yep, that's right. Oh, cool. A major pop in from Quinn Jen's Queer Gear. Yeah. Hey. Yeah, very cool. Nice to meet you, or nice to see you in here. One of our hardcore Twitchers and helped us out with you know, Quinn is a decker that's helped us out with doing music for our weekly one-shots, where I used to run a 5th edition game weekly on Twitch with new players. Like, new player, sign up on Twitch, hit the Patreon, and I'll run a game for you guys online. That's what I was doing. So I've been liking to do this for a long time. And yeah, running the games online, you've got a lot of options. You've got a lot of dice rolling apps if you can't afford dice. You've got things like Roll20 and Discord, and I use Zoom personally. But there are ways to get a hold of people and to set the stuff up. Now, don't get me wrong. Zoom can be kind of expensive because I think it's like 14 to 17 bucks a month for unlimited calls. Other than that, you're limited to what, 40 minutes, you know, which means, oh no, we play a game. All right, take a break. Take a break, get some pizza, and then go sit back down for another 40-minute session. It's, you know, y'all know what y'all can do. This is all that other stuff. But yeah, when you play games online, there has to be the same, if not a higher, element of trust coming from you to your players or from you to your GM, because at the end of the day, we're all playing to have fun. And again, I did a long list of the RPGs that I got. I play miniatures games too. Matter of fact, I just picked up one other that's a sci-fi one, because, you know, I'm on the sci-fi right now. But even when I'm playing War Machine or checking out Warhammer or Marvel Crisis Protocol or HeroClix, yeah, I game a lot. All right, this is my thing. All right, this is my thing. It's just what I do. Or when I'm playing a board game, I realize that the criteria is all about winning. I'm with that. Okay, cool. You're trying to win. All right, I get that. However, wanting to win the games, that's cool. That's fine. That's a great thing. But be very wary of the game or victory being your only criteria for fun, because down that road leads a lot of misery, because you're not going to win every time. There is always an element of doing everything right and losing anyway, or just being outplayed. And if that's your bag, that's cool. Just make sure that the people that you're playing with are on the same page. So when I run online games, I do everything I can to give them cool gear. And when I say to give them cool gear, I mean, if I have an extra good quality microphone laying around, I try and get it to them, because I know a lot of people aren't big fans of and then I stab him, I mean, that's a tough thing. I get that. Okay. I do. But one thing I've noticed about playing online is, at least with the program that I use, it has little highlights around the people who are talking. And I've noticed that a lot more people wait their turn patiently. And I truly, truly appreciate that. Ooh, stream status is poor. Keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. I can't stand. See, here's the thing. It's not teaching me how to do that. Yeah, it's not showing me how to do it. It's just telling me that I should. Yeah. Oh well, I'm here. It says the stream quality is poor. I'll be able to see it afterwards. From what I can see on my little preview thing, it is doing alright. Yeah, it's doing alright. So yeah, I mean, that's a really big thing. Part of this show is about talking about my experiences, so you guys get to know me a little better, which will give you some context as to why you should watch the other shows. My thought process when I play. Understand this, alright? When I was growing up, the rest of this playlist has a lot of my story. Okay, just to give some of the new people sum up. I was raised in the ghetto during the time of gang violence. That was my big thing. The LA riots literally started in front of my aunt's house back in '92. And I was a teenager. Like I was what, 15 at the time? No, coming up on 15, because the riots happened in April. My birthday's in May. So school shootings were a regular occurrence for me. Police violence was a regular occurrence for me. And it was a rough time in a rough place. Okay, it was what it was. But one thing that I always wanted to make clear to people was, one of the difficult things about me in that time was, I talked earlier in this cast about playing sports. I wasn't good at them. Okay, I didn't have a father. I had 4 older brothers, and they're older than me by a minimum of 8 years. Okay, which means I'm in the 2nd grade, they're sophomores in high school. I'm in the 3rd grade, they're juniors in high school. I'm in the 4th grade, they're seniors, and either prepping for college or prepping for the military. So there really weren't any men around in my life. So I never really learned how to play sports. Okay, I didn't have anybody to throw the ball around with, especially since my mom was working multiple jobs to support us. This is why I wasn't exactly bookish. I was the other solitary kid, i.e. complete weirdo, and I went absolutely nuts, and there was alcohol and drugs involved and all that stuff. But I wasn't very good at sports. And if you're not good at sports or dancing in an area where all there is to do is play sports and play dancing, you're not going to be very popular. So I read a lot. But when I wanted to play games, when I saw the kids playing hide and seek and freeze tag and all that stuff, freeze tag is a game where you run around and the person who's it is the monster, and they count to 10, and all the kids hide, or they don't hide if they think they can outrun you, and you chase them down, and then you touch them, and they're it. And freeze tag is you touch them, and they're frozen in place until somebody else comes and touches them, and not a game we can play right now. 2020 during the whole COVID shutdown, freeze tag, not a thing. But the biggest thing was I didn't have anyone to play with, and very few of the kids would let me play in their reindeer games, as it were. In elementary school, they had sports at lunchtime, where we would go out and we would play kickball, which was you get a soccer ball and you play baseball, but you don't have a bat, so you kick it. It's kick it and you run around the bases and all that stuff. But all the same rules, except no sliding in the bases because it's played on blacktop. Because in our school, we didn't have any grass. Okay, my elementary school didn't have any grass. It was all paved. So we played, the boys played kickball and the girls played handball and tetherball. And the girls would let me play. So I could play handball, I could play tetherball, but playing basketball or flag football or kickball, that really wasn't something I was welcome in. And that created a deep, deep, deep scar that my old therapist and I never got through working with. And a lot of the times when I'm at a game store or I'm talking with some people about gaming, that stuff comes up. Okay, that stuff, it really does. It comes up. It becomes a matter of, will I be able to get these guys to let me play with them? Now granted, I grew up around major jerks, okay, and I mean major. So major that in this day and age, you guys know the ones. If you can't join their game because table's full or blah blah blah, so you learn the game and you start hosting your own, but they won't come to your games. You know the ones. That was my primary thing, and this kind of gave me a major exclusion complex that I'm still working through. And for the record, I talk about this stuff on all my live streams on Tuesdays because I'm all up front. I got nothing to hide. I didn't always do great things. I still don't. I'm just trying to get better. Just trying to go 3 inches further than I did yesterday. Okay. And this turned me into an angry, resentful person for a long time, which fed into the Ouroboros thing of, now they have an excuse, or now they have a reason for not wanting to play with me, because now I suck to play with. And there was a weird line between the elitism of my friends and me being angry about it. And it turned into a chicken and the egg thing for a while. And I got a lot of friends to this day that just won't join any of my games because they've got their reasons and they can have their reasons. And this is one of the things that I bring up, I grew up at a time where being a gamer meant that you were lonely. Okay? And no, I don't mean video gamers like it is today. Back in the 20th century, gamer meant tabletop games, because that was the lifestyle. Okay? I'm older than the Nintendo Entertainment System, and by that I mean I remember when it came out, and I remember when the stores pretty much closed down from all of the damn riots that were coming through with people wanting them. They did the same with Cabbage Patch Dolls the year before. But the people that go into this hobby, much like the people that do YouTube, tend to be very introverted, have a whole lot of those complexes that I have. Okay, now I'm an extrovert, all right, and I'm a little bit older than a lot of people that just get into this stuff. So I started Back in the Deck Productions to let you guys know, look, we're here. You have a safe haven. We're nice to each other. We're kind. We all understand that there was a point in our lives where if we weren't the ones that were getting thrown in our lockers, we felt like we were. And those times might not have ended. Okay? And now in this time where people are panicking over toilet paper and bottled water and, even a global pandemic is being polarized politically, and I ain't gonna get into that. Okay? But everyone, as far as I can put together, everyone knows that there's something wrong. Okay? And there's been something wrong for a long time. Don't care if it's lack of medical insurance or drowning in college debt or working a job that's tearing apart your body and also chipping away at your pension, whatever it is. Okay? We all need a little bit of escapism, and we all need someone to laugh with. That's a real thing. We all need a moment to go, dude, relax. All right? We just want to play a game. We just want to play a game. Just want to play a game. Want to have some stories. Want to laugh. So that's what we're here for. But there's been another thing that's been coming down, which is everyone is guarded. I get that. I really do. So many people are like, well, the people that screwed me over last time said all the exact same things that you're saying in the exact same tones. Oh my God, and I get it. I get it. I spent my 20s in pain. I spent my 30s sore from the pain that was in my 20s while causing more pain. And fortunately for my 30s, I was learning the tools to get through it. Okay. Now I'm in my 40s, and I have a little bit more of an understanding of the pain that I was in, and I can see remnants of it in people. Ooh, I lost somebody turned this off. Hopefully it wasn't Daryl. Anyway, as I was saying, there has been a moraine of trust, and I get it. I definitely get it. But what I'm asking people to do, just all across the board, when it comes to playing games, especially playing games, making new friends, have a little bit of trust, just a little, just 3 inches of trust. Why 3 inches? Open a door 3 inches. Nobody can come all the way in. All right, but just enough to be like, well, I'll give you a shot. Because even when you're playing these games and when you're forming all this stuff, you always have the option of walking away. You're not trapped. Not in a D&D game. Your character might be trapped in a room and have to make an intelligence save or perception check, but you are not trapped. You can give people a shot. You can set your good boundaries. You can be like, look, dude, like, how can I put this? There are a lot of people who have a problem with politically correct. I get that. I was there in the 90s when it got out of hand. All right. But what I will say is this. There's a difference between being politically correct and not listening to someone when they're telling you that you're hurting their feelings. I've had to quit a lot of games because I was the only black guy in it, and people just would not stop telling black jokes or equating my character to myself. And it's like, dude, okay, this has been uncomfortable. This is getting intolerable. I really need you to pull that back. And they couldn't, and I quit the game, and I felt better about the whole thing. That was the whole thing. Not everyone, especially in this day and age, not everyone will hear when you're asking them to respect your boundaries. But you don't have to angrily fight everything. You still have the option of just leaving. Just bail. And I know because I've got the same fears. It comes up to, well, if I leave everybody all the time, I'm still going to end up alone. I get it. Okay. Anyone who knows me in real life can attest to the fact that I end up getting isolated not because I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert, but I'm surrounded by introverts. So when they all close their door at the same time, I'm by myself, and that's a terrible thing. Excuse me. Right? But rather to be alone in dignity than to suffer out of desperation. Okay, that's a really big thing, and that is something that has often led us down really messed up paths. Often led us down really messed up paths in the sense of being in games that we don't like, and then we start getting resentful because we're afraid to leave. I know that's the part that I played in it for a long time, and honestly, I feel better. Like, I'll ask, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and a lot of times I gotta point stuff out to them because things are weird. You know, it's the 21st century, and we've got more communication today than we ever have in the entire history of our species. And that's big. That's a lot of information. It seems like a lot of people need a lot of time to catch up on one hand. And on the other hand, we got a lot of people that get really mad that folks haven't caught up already. And there's got to be like some sort of meeting in the middle. There's got to be understanding on both sides. But then we also got those trolls out there, and you know who you are, who have no wish for understanding, and they just want to be jerks. And then they hide behind, "Oh, well, I was just kidding. Can't you take a joke?" And I'm like, if we were in real life and I hit you in the mouth with a baseball bat and asked, "Couldn't you take a joke?" It's not out of malice. I just thought it would be funny to hit you with a bat. People would call the cops on me. But that whole emotional pain is the same, although it doesn't leave any major bleeding. But the damage that we live with because of it can last even longer than it takes us to go to the dentist and get a tooth replaced. So it's just a matter of like respecting the people that are at the table, setting down boundaries for them to respect. Don't we play games to find out what's fair and what isn't? Like, isn't that a side effect of playing, or am I just odd? But that's the thing. The chat's not really speaking up right now. I'm like, what do they have to say? I don't know what they have to say. Oh, well, that's a thing. But yeah, so in all honesty, when it comes to playing your games online, trust the people that you're playing with. Lay down your boundaries. Respect other people's boundaries as far as like what jokes would be funny, what jokes wouldn't be funny, all that stuff. And be cool to each other. That's the whole thing. Again, there are lots and lots of different tools. Now, I want to talk about those tools because this is something that I'm seeing a lot of. And I don't blame any person in particular. It's just something that I see in the culture. I have to check something real quick. Sorry, I'm seeing something on my thing, and that, I'm seeing something on my monitor, and it looks like, it really just looks like I'm not framing up well. So I'm checking that real quick. Yeah. So, boop, 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 boop. And we'll go here. And hopefully... Yeah, my phone is going off with all these robot calls. It is infuriating. You would think... you would honestly think that since we are on this whole lockdown thing that's happening, the robot calls would actually be turned off. But nah. Nah, it wouldn't be. Nah. Hang on, and yeah, mute that. Okay, cool. I am in frame. All right, cool. That's great. So yeah, as I was saying, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, that thing I wanted to talk about. There is a lot of this idea that folks should know. Okay. Like this whole idea of, well, we play on Discord, and if you don't know how to play on Discord, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, really? Like for real? Okay, here's the thing. I get that the people at school act in a certain way. I get that people at the DMV, at the bank, at your rental office, there's a whole lot of ways that we're interacted with every day that that teaches us to be cruel. I get that. I do. I get, you got people at the DMV saying, "I'm sorry, fill this out, blah blah blah," and we deal with a lot of places where the default answer is no. We deal with a lot of places that whenever we're talking to people specifically, oh, that's weird. Yeah, we deal with a lot of people in our daily lives where once they decide that we are incorrect, there's no moving them. Okay, I get that. But that does not mean we have to be. So, one of the things that I recommend, and that's all, I just recommend for people. One of the rules I have for interacting with me is if I think a person should already know something, if I'm not willing to teach them, then I need to shut my mouth. It's that simple. If it's like, oh, you should know this already, then I got to take my time to teach them. That's just the whole thing. Because if I think they should know, I'm holding them to some standard that may or may not apply. I've had some bad teachers over the course of my life. I've had some bad bosses over the course of my life. And guess what? I've been a bad student and I've been a bad employee. Sometimes I just didn't bother studying some stuff. Sometimes I worked as hard as I could and I just couldn't wrap my head around it. It's all part of being a person. But when you're playing or when you're talking to people who game and stuff like that, if anything in this crisis should teach us anything, is that we need to be more selective with elitism. Okay? That's one of the big things. I'm a real old school gamer. I really am. And I have been playing these games for longer than a lot of people who would use this platform have been alive. I'm not going to hold anybody to the standard of knowing what I know. I went through it trying to learn how to game. I went through it. It's documented. It's down there in the playlist. Check that out at your leisure. Leave a comment and all that other stuff. But after going through it, I ended up working at game stores where it was my job to at least read these games for 8 hours while trying to sell them. It was my job to play them and to teach other people how to play them. Like, it became my life. Other people have had other lives. There aren't as many game stores in the world as there are people who play games. Okay? That's economics. That's basic mathematics. So I have had access to more of the medium than a lot of people. And I always remember that. And when I talk to a lot of people, specifically the younger ones, that are like, Psh, you don't know that? What are you, stupid? No, I'm poor and I didn't grow up with video game systems. So would you do me the service of bringing me up to speed? Because I could put you in front of my motorcycle and tell you how to fix the brakes. And if you don't know how to do that, then I could treat you like an idiot too. And no one likes that. And that's my point. The only things that we ever know are the things that we are taught. And we've been taught a lot of terrible things by the world in regards to how to treat each other. I'm challenging us to do something different. I'm challenging all of us to be a little better to each other. Okay? And that's where it is. But this has been my hour. Because I've been told by a lot of people, oh my God, your rants, they're like 90 minutes too long. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fine. But I'm not doing a 20-minute podcast. I can rant for an hour, and I want to thank you guys for showing up. And I really do. I mean that. I really want to thank, sincere thanks to the folks over in the chat seriously, guys, like I'm digging this a lot. I'd like to know, yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Nick, Daryl, Quinn, um, the lurkers. You guys that are watching that really aren't commenting on anything. That's cool. You do you. You do you. I'm happy that you're here. And if you guys leave any comments down below, keep them kind and know that if people want to come in and start trolling and start doing that weird, hateful stuff, I have no problem deleting comments. Let's see if I don't. But let's see here. Where am I at? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, I want to. Oh yeah, I did kill the music, didn't I? Well, that's okay because I'm so glad we had this time together. There we are. Look, our music is back. I have fun with that. I have a lot of fun with that. So thank you guys for showing up to this edition of the Dark Side of the Room. I really, leave a comment, send an email, let me know if I should do more shows here on YouTube or if I should go, or if I should stay at Twitch. Yeah, let me know. Let me know because I can do it all. I want to do what I can to help really grow the community, get more followers and all that stuff. One of the reasons I'm on Twitch so hard is that YouTube kind of treats you like a nobody if you don't have at least 1,000 subscribers. It's one of those things. Those who've got shall have. So those who have a large following shall get support, and those that don't get no support in getting more. It's weird. But if you guys have any questions or comments or anything like that, just send me an email over at backinthedeck@gmail.com. That's BACKINTHEDECK at gmail.com. You can also hit us up on social media on Twitter at backinthedeck, Instagram, Instagram.com/backinthedeck. That's where you'll get a hold of us. And of course, if you're part of that wretched hive of scum and villainy known as Facebook, all you got to do is join the group Deckers on the Book. And that's where we do a lot of real-time talking and posting pictures of the stuff that we're working on and posting like samples of our music tracks, or we get advice about whatever games we're playing and all that stuff. This is like where our community can really talk. Same with the Twitter and all that stuff. And if you guys have enjoyed this and you want to keep it for yourself and listen to it at your leisure, you can totally do that. And you can share it over at soundcloud.com/backinthedeck. So, or /BID_P. And we've got so much stuff, including the audio from some of the games that I've run. This was like a game that I ran for some new players in Vegas a few weeks ago. Or, God, it's been a month already. And, yeah, you can download that, keep it at your leisure. Share it and all that stuff. Oh, sorry about that, Lydia Sorish. Yeah, we decided to go on YouTube today, and I really appreciate that. Also, if you guys like what we do and you think that we bring you more value than a packet of cupcakes every month, then head on over to patreon.com/BID_P and become a Decker. And you guys get access to like our entire archive, and I send little cool things, including dice rollers, miniatures. Like we have the Cinematic Sorcerer miniature right here. Hang on, let me see if I can get this all the way there. Yeah, look at that. It's me with my coffee and my ankh, and of course my book of spells with my bone on my back. And you guys at the royalty tier, which starts at $20 a month or more, you get shouted out in every single one of our shows, just like Shannon Boom Boom Lay, and of course His Majesty King Paul David Mansfield, and our ace in the hole, Jennifer Kroll. So if you guys want more information about that, or got any questions or comments or any inquiries, if you will, then just head on over to backinthedeck@gmail.com and send me a couple of things. But until then, If anybody tells you that you can't like what you like or have the hobbies that you like because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, or your budget, you just tell them that we said to take those cards and put them back in the deck. This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying thank you guys for joining me on Dark Side of the Room.